This is day 1367, and there is no sign of Richard, no sign of life. And so we're back to looking at these autopsy numbers and the information that we have received about them. There's 3 of them. And why are we doing this? Let me go on Facebook, make sure that everything is working. Everything seems to be working. And thank you. And sorry for coming on so late. It just can't be helped because of the flood of evidence, hard evidence that we have received in the last week. It really pays to understand legal procedures, the law. I don't understand why we don't have more of that in school because knowing what an amicus brief is, knowing how that can help other parts of a case by helping other people. You know, every time you help other people, then you get blessings back. And this is exactly what has happened. Filing this amicus brief, this amicus notice, because there wasn't a brief attached, it was an amicus notice. It was just notifying. You know, it was being a friend to the court saying, are you aware of this? We want to share information that is very relevant in this federal case because you are using taxpayers' money to put forth a case that is involving somebody that cannot even be a party to this case because he's not legal. He's a usurper, right? This, and, you know, our amicus brief was something very kind, something very professional, something that we wanted to just help and not bring, you know, a lot of emotion in, but we wanted to make sure that they knew why we were interested in this and that we had an absolute right to bring this to their attention because an investigation into Bill Hicks as the usurper of the 34th Judicial District Attorney's Office, you know, absolutely hinders justice. Matter of fact, there is no justice right now in El Paso. Okay? There's no justice system right now in El Paso. And that is 110%, 150%, to 1,000%. Absolutely, there is no justice in El Paso. It's all a show because he is a usurper. He is illegitimate in that 34th Judicial District Attorney's Office. John Briggs is a nothing. He is a nothing. The Shapleys are nothing. They are, everything they touch right now is a nothing. Legally, it is a nothing. That's very important for anyone that has a case or is being looked at or whatever in that office. It is botched. The criminals can walk because they are, those that are in law enforcement are not properly, their oaths are his oath. He's supposed to be in charge. And it's not just his oaths. The documents themselves, the way he all the information that we have, that we looked at, the way he signed it, the way he filled it out is illegitimate. The timing of it all is illegitimate. The being then in session, this was a fraud on the Senate. We already have notified them of that. This is a fraud on the government. But you see, the Secretary of State is implicated in this. It seems to be that she has committed federal crimes herself. And the choice, the appointment, and how Governor Abbott handled all of this seems to implicate him also. And so this is why this was so important, because not only is the DA's office there, and we need to tell Bill Hicks who he how to fill out forms, because he doesn't even know how to fill out forms, because he cannot fill out an oath for district attorney. That's not who he is. He's the 34th Judicial District Attorney. And he didn't even do that. It makes him look, it makes us understand why he didn't pass his bar the first time around. So going through this paperwork that we have, it's very clear that there are multiple violations that absolutely make him a usurper in this position, which is not giving the people of El Paso, that 34th Judicial District, a justice system. And it's not just him. There are, let's look at the medical examiner. He not only seems to be violated his visa, that means he's in the country illegally. He's in the country illegally because he violated his visa. Clearly, that's what it looks like. And he's not an American citizen. So then that makes him unqualified for judicial position, which the medical examiner clearly is a judicial office. And if you have any questions of that, just look at the seal. The seal of the chief medical examiner clearly establishes him as a judicial officer. And so, and medical, right? And and that position has a lot of power when it comes to justice and all the capital murder cases. So that El Paso judicial system was notified of these illegal positions that they had taken when the Walmart case happened, because all those remains from the victims were given into the hands of an illegally here in this country, not even a U.S. citizen. He violated his visa. He's not an American citizen. He's not qualified for that position. And this implicates the person that took down Yvonne Rosales, was key in taking down Yvonne Rosales. And that is the county attorney, Joanne Bernal. And also this implicates Veronica Escobar, who's hiding in Congress. She's hiding there. And now Joanne Bernal has resigned because she's going to go ahead for the hills or take her golden parachute or whatever. But I don't think it's going to work out for them. I don't think so. And it's not us. It's so many other things. We have gotten confirmation that there are investigations being made behind the scenes, even beyond, way beyond Team Find Richard Halliday. We are just corroborating what the work of these patriots, the work of these lovers of the Constitution, lovers of the Texas Constitution, because they know that that is our freedom, right? Our freedom of speech, our freedom, um, our safety net, our safety net. And why so many people want to come to this country legally, right? And so we need to defend the Constitution, the Texas Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, because that's what gives us our beautiful life. And when we have our law enforcers and when we have corrupt individuals putting on these positions, be it a uniform or a title, illegally, and being a fraud on the court, being a fraud upon the Senate, upon the court, upon the governor, upon the people of El Paso. I don't think that they're going to get away with it. And because this is absolutely connected to Richard's case, and we know that absolutely Danae Katzen targeted our case, Rosa Maria, who is tied with Danae Katzen from 3905 Bliss Avenue, who targeted our son's case and us, and Leilani Hart, who is the convicted criminal from Dreams Cabaret, whose son is Richard's platoon leader that targeted our son's case, that is connected to Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. And this is all tied to the Walmart case, which is all tied to the justice system, because we wanted to know the monies, because we heard that they're intertwined, and the monies from the Walmart case are intertwined with the monies of Richard's case. And there's a stolen identity. There's stolen identity because of maybe it's insurance policies. And maybe Felix Valenzuela, who is supposed to be defending Patrick Crucius, but is mainly deals with insurance policies, which, we're learning through following the law that insurance policies really are mainly federal cases. Because they cross state lines, these companies and everything like that. Tell me where I'm wrong, but this absolutely is all connected. And now we're connecting way back in history to a case that I'm very, very familiar with because I was living in Temple, Texas at the time. And that is the Branch Davidian Waco crime that absolutely happened. And why is it relevant? Because we have rogue, we have illegal, we have those in positions in our agencies, like the FBI, like the DA, like the medical examiner, the chief medical examiner, like the county attorney, like the county judge, like the representative for the El Pasoans in Congress, and on, that have committed a absolutely major crime, and is using a medical examiner that is a foreigner, um, that by Texas Constitution cannot hold the position in Texas of a chief medical examiner. And that was the case in the Davidian case. And that's why um, they only did a cause of death. They didn't do a manner of death. We're learning all about that, because a manner of death would be forensics, like on the bullet you pulled out of that person, to determine where did that bullet come from. Whereas a cause of death is just they died of a gunshot wound, right? Or yeah. Um, so all of this that we have to wrap our head around, because what did Mario Raskin Ortiz, the chief medical examiner, what did he do with the remains of the Walmart victims? Did he conduct, number one, it's all botched, but what was he asked to do? A manner of death or a cause of death? Because manner of death would have shown different bullets from different firearms, right? Even from Ernest Christopher Grant, he could have done forensics on that. The bullets pulled out of his body. Where did they come from? So, or would that be the investigators that did that? I mean, there's so much to learn here, so much to uncover, so many questions. And we're told that the FBI found Richard's remains. And the autopsy reports show a SEMAFO, which is it's SEMEFO, which in Spanish is the medical examiner's office there in Juarez, Mexico, in the state of Chihuahua. So, that's one of them. Then the other is El Paso, and the other is Fort Bliss. And then we have this address, 3905 Bliss Avenue, that our intelligence is telling us it's connected to the mortuary affairs for William Beaumont Army Medical Center. And the way the medical examiner in the Branch Davidian, from what I understand, that went all corrupt, because that medical examiner had made a business, like he was part of a business, and they were being contracted out to do these autopsies, which is totally illegal. And what's going on at 3905 Bliss Avenue? What's going on with Mario Raskin Ortiz when he has violated his visa? Why is he still in the country? And then why is, because right now you can see it in the news that so many people are being arrested, and is there enough room? Are they creating a crisis in the prison system? Are they creating a crisis in El Paso? Because they cannot move cases forward. How many people do they have in the prisons waiting for their case to come through? I mean, it's 5 years now for the Walmart mass shooting, and that hasn't moved forward. So think about all the other cases that have not moved forward because there is no justice system in El Paso. Everything I don't know what kind of tightrope they are walking to try to keep this going. And I'm hoping that we're going to free up El Paso from this criminal activity in the justice system there so that they can move their criminal cases forward and not have, because I can't even imagine what these prisons are right now. They're probably full to the brim. And you know what happens when that happens? Then they get on their little political twisty greedy little eyeballs and greedy little hands and say, "Oh, tax time, we need a new prison. We need a bigger prison." When all along they don't need a bigger prison, they need a justice system. They need to move these cases forward. It's it's absolutely um because if people need to be deported, they need to be deported. If they need capital punishment, they need capital punishment. And Texas has capital punishment. So, and I'm not saying I'm passing judgment on anybody. I'm saying that the justice system is stalled right now. It really is not even functioning because of all the corruption with individuals in our beautiful positions. They're sabotaging the justice system in El Paso right now. And they've been doing it for a long time. And that's why we could not move forward with our own son's case. And people were wondering, what's going on? Why can't they get help? That's because we have a usurper as a DA. That's because we have a medical examiner that's not qualified, that has violated his visa. Um, yeah. So it really is a just for this week on who now to write to move this forward, to remove Bill Hicks, to remove Mario Raskin Ortiz. And I would say those criminal that knew about all of this and did not do anything, allowed the people of El Paso to be charged and the people of Texas to be charged millions of dollars. Millions. I can't even imagine how much money it is since 2014. And that all those criminal cases now will have to be retried. Or, yeah, I just can't even imagine. So I think we need to, um, be a friend of the court again and keep writing these letters, these amicus, these notices, and of course, tell everybody on these live streams what's going on there. Because I think if you're living and have all your life investments there in El Paso, your children, your businesses, your friendships, your church, you know, you want a place that's going to be free of crime, and you want a justice system that is functioning because you pay for it. You pay huge property taxes there. So, and we just need to bring that to attention so that we can get Richard's autopsy reports answered, the death certificate. Who received Richard's death certificate? What kind of tampering was there with identifications? Because the CID just confirmed this week that they have no missing soldiers on Fort Bliss. They have no missing soldiers on Fort Bliss. They have no missing soldiers on Fort Bliss. So they're telling us he's a missing soldier, yet there is no missing soldier on Fort Bliss. They speak out of two sides of their mouth, but we know that because of all the other evidence that we have that we that the FBI found remains in Mexico and then stateside as well. So we'll come back with more of that. I see that they're really attacking TikTok in Congress. TikTok has been a very important tool in Team Find Richard Halliday in the last year, really. And I would say, you know, we'll find a platform. We'll move forward. You know, they try to stop. They try to stop I love woodwork. I love architecture and everything. So when I get on TikTok, I always see some kind of person doing some woodworking or gardening or things that I'm very interested in. Energy, free energy, creating free energy. There's tons of that on there. And then, of course, the architecture around the world and things like that. And, just I wish I had time to watch. Um, and because they're fast, sometimes I get some of it. And, why would they want to ban that? Not the FISA warrants, right? Oh, you don't have to have a warrant. You don't have to have a warrant. They can spy on anybody. Um, uh, you know, it- what is reality? You know them by their fruit. TikTok is not a threat. What's a threat is larceny in the heart. Larceny in the heart. The selling out for money, the selling out for power. That's the threat. And, to keep education from people, to keep people from developing a skill, that's the real threat. So I just want to let everyone know that we will find a way for a platform. Um, we have our own platform also. We haven't been using it, but we do have our own platform that we can move forward in. And, so just look for us. And I don't think Facebook is going away anywhere. We're on Rumble too, and um, but this whole thing with TikTok right now, attacking TikTok, I think is a violation of our rights. And yeah, I don't think it poses any more threat than any other social media platform. So, so you might want to write some letters to your congressman about TikTok. So, thank you so much on that. I just don't know how to address that properly, but um, you're going the posts that we have on there are getting attacked. We have to fight appeals and everything. Um, please share them if they're on there. and you might have to do the work of going to the site because of the shadow banning. So realize that you can't really depend on these search engines so much. You have to know where you want to go and what you want to learn about. And um, so, absolutely, thank you so much for being just part of this huge, huge undertaking to free El Paso and to find Richard's remains and have Richard's remains given to us again. So thank you so much. Um, Given to us, I shouldn't say again. Oh man, I'm burning the midnight oil. I'm burning the midnight oil. So absolutely that they need to give us Richard's remains and come clean with these autopsy reports that keep coming to us. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing. I hope I didn't talk in circles too much. Thank you so much, Anicia, for coming on. Just wanted to send you my love and support tonight, Mama Halliday. Thank you so much. Sending our love. Um, And Rob always says, don't forget to tell them that we love them because we couldn't do this without all of your support, your prayers, your love, your good emotions, the good emotions that you send us. Because, reading through all of this evidence gets so frustrating. We're very happy to have it, though, this evidence to explain the absolute insanity that we were facing. Now it's making sense. It's making sense that there are insurance schemes going, there's weapons trafficking, and I would say more so than weapons trafficking, our indications is that it was ammunition, so much ammunition trafficking, and of course, human trafficking and child sex trafficking and the child pornography, um, eh, which I want to make this point every time I talk about child pornography. All pornography, all of it, is child sex trafficking. And we have a real problem with the incest, with the grooming, the pedophile grooming, and bringing our young people into these situations with this sex cult, and they create this child pornography, but then they go and as they grow up, do the regular pornography. And so this was all brought up by Ye Con oh what Kanye West, um, and it was very profound because it was like a little door opening, and then you go in there and you research cases and stuff, and you absolutely see that all pornography is child sex trafficking. And that's not okay, y'all. That's not okay. It's not okay at all. It's absolutely criminal. Absolutely. Because of that, you have so many people that commit suicide. You have then the expansion of the illegal drug cartel activity they numb themselves because of what they're put through. And then you have the fentanyl deaths and this cocaine abuse. And because of that, people want to make money, and then they start warring in different areas because they want their turf or whatever. And then you have all these shootings, and it just perpetuates from one crime to another crime. And then of course then you have whistleblowers like Richard that tries to expose. He doesn't try, he exposed it, and then he's retaliated against because there's such big money involved in it, and it has infiltrated into our agencies and our leadership, into our beautiful uniforms, and they retaliate severely and continuously until it leads to a forcible taking. He was taken and murdered, tortured and murdered. And I want to tell you this. All our intelligence says he was in uniform. He was in uniform. So this forcible removal and torture and murder, he was in uniform. So that assault, that murder is a murder of the American people, because that's what that uniform symbolizes: the defense of the Constitution, the land, and the people. So when they forcibly removed Richard, it was, yes, a very Richard, but also very American people upon American people. This was a crime against Richard and the American people, because all indication that we have, all intelligence that we have, is that he was in uniform when this happened. And I think that is, $61 billion to Ukraine. And Senator Graham denies to even acknowledge Richard Halliday. Yes. I think that is, the light will always find a way, here with you, burning the oil and wanting the justice you deserve. Thank you so much. Yeah, the truth is out there. Who would have thought 3 years ago, and you know this because you were paying attention then, that the medical examiner, see, at the time in 2014, it was County Judge Veronica Escobar. And she knew, because she is the one that filled out his visa forms, the H-1B and the J-1 waiver. And in that, she fudged it. She fudged it because, and these aren't quotes, okay, this is just from reading it and memory. She was saying that that Roscoe would fulfill the obligation of caring for the poor, which is a requirement for this waiver, for this visa, right, into the United States to work as this professional, that he would perform work for the poor. And she said he would do that by giving them free autopsies. That's what he would do. Wait a minute. Number one, he can't do that as a chief medical examiner. He can't do that. The chief medical examiner has rules. And number one, anyone that requires an autopsy will get an autopsy paid for by the taxpayers. So she committed a fraud. which is, I believe, a felony, a fraud on the court, a fraud on the people. Veronica Escobar, can you imagine saying that? Oh, he's going to get $438,000 a year, and he's going to fulfill this visa, which, he didn't. So this is, a violation of his visa, which means he has to be deported and he can never be an American citizen. That's what the law says when you violate the conditions of your visa. Um, and tell me if I'm wrong. This is how I'm learning this stuff. Because we have been told that he's the one that handled Richard's remains. He's the one that handled Glendon Oakley Jr.'s remains. He's the one, we know this 100%, that he's the one that handled the Walmart victims' remains. And, why? Why would Bernal, why would Escobar, why would Rascon commit crimes to do this job? For the money only? I think it's more than that. I think it's more than that. So, and who would have thought that we would, and on top of this, Bill Hicks is a usurper. And Jaime Esparza has some big problems too, y'all. And because of all of this, Patrick Crusius, Patrick Crusius didn't have to make a deal with anybody. He could just walk. There's so many violations in this whole case and in the whole process of justice that he could just walk. And yet Joe Spencer and Felix Valenzuela, his lawyers, were not acting in the best of his interest. They let him get 1,000 years in prison, 90 life sentences. What's going on? Who is Joe Spencer really working for? Because do not tell me that Joe Spencer doesn't know what's going on. It is his job when DA Bill Hicks was coming in, and they absolutely know each other, to say, hey, Bill, I want to see your oaths. I want to see your statement, your anti-bribery, your office statement of officer, right? Because I have to work. I have a duty to work in the best interest of my client. And all this mess is going on. The whole case is botched. And did Mario Raskin do a manner of death to prove, it's Joe Spencer's job to say, wait a minute, that medical examiner better do a manner of death for these victims, because we need forensics to make sure the bullets that killed these people came from my client's gun. You see, this was such a setup. And I believe that we have just Team Find Richard Halliday and the paperwork that we have gotten from Open Records and from Team Find Richard Halliday, from our intelligence, from Austin, shows clearly, without a doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Joe Spencer has violated his charge. He needs to lose his law license. So you have Bill Hicks needing to lose his law license, and I would say the whole team for Patrick Crusius, because what the heck? By their actions, they clearly show that this is not what the media says it is. That this absolutely is a botched case with a botched DA, a botched um, attorney, defense attorney, botched defense attorneys, and a botched county attorney, a botched representative that was a county judge, and a botched medical examiner, and a botched attorney general for the Western District of Texas. My, and this is the main point. They have charged the people millions and millions of dollars for this. I think we need our money back. We need our money back. And I say we, I was born in New Mexico. I think this goes back. I was raised in Texas. And even the Branch Davidian case had a botched medical examiner. And that was proven. And that's why this is so important, because that is a precedent. That's going to help. And hopefully it won't be Team Find Richard Halliday that has to move forward. We want the remains of our son. The remains that we are told Mario Raskin Ortiz handled. Who did he hand over our son's remains to? Who did he give the death certificate to? Who did he hand over the autopsy report to? We want to know. That's why this is so important to us. But then you have the SB4 case. That's important. You have other cases. So this is way more, much larger than just what Team Farm Richard Halliday is doing. And the El Pasoans need to know they've been given a raw deal. They've been charged for no services rendered. And matter of fact, instead, criminal activity. So, I hope that helps El Pasoans. And I hope that the next county attorney that's walking into this understands that this is a huge chance that it's a trap for her. I don't know if what side she's on, if she knows about all this. But yeah, fire them all. There's no one that can be trusted. It goes so far back. It's like these people went to preschool together and have been friends all along. Friends and family. The nepotism is huge. And they made this a business deal. And I really believe this is identity fraud, using insurance schemes, and of course, working with the cartel to deliver lots of ammunition and weapons, of course, and human trafficking. Yeah, absolutely. And, they just try to infiltrate these very important positions to get away with the crime that they knew would come sooner or later because of their activities at Dreams Cabaret, with the drugs, with the suicides, with the mass shootings, with, because there's always inner fighting and everything when you're dealing with this level of criminal activity. And yeah, and they have to be able to get away with the escalation of their crimes. So and they're making the El Pasoans pay for it. And so we really cannot stop. Uh, uh, There's, as far as Team Farm Richard Halliday, we cannot stop. We have to look, pray, continue with our writing of letters and notifications, and um, looking at all these different judges and all of that, pursuing, um, and of course, dealing with the military on all of this. And sooner or later, um, the stars in their course fought against Sisera. And, we will have help from heaven. That's, and we'll get our son's remains. And the grip on El Paso, uh, pray that it is loosened. Because right now you do not have, from all our evidence, I can tell you right now, you do not have a justice system there in El Paso. And El Paso is a beautiful, ancient city, so much culture. Um, yeah, we cannot let them destroy El Paso and the El Pasoans. So thank you so much. God bless you. I'll be back on tomorrow, and it's the start of a new week. Have a great week, and thank you so much. We love you, and please share, share, share. I cannot tell you how much to share, and I'll try to find time to put together some more memes, and the memes seem to be, a good way for people to share. So read between the lines, explain to people what these videos mean, what is going on, because we're being shadow banned, we're being censored, and so all the help that we can get, we appreciate. God bless you. Um, See you later. Bye bye.